I'm here today with Dana Meadows from Movement Mortgage, and she is going to kind of tell us a little bit about her business and what makes her different as a lender. So, Dana, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, could you tell me how you got involved in the industry and kind of how long you've been doing this for?
Absolutely. So, funny story, I worked for a playground manufacturing company and was laid off from my marketing role there. Okay. And my husband came home one day and said, "Hey, our mortgage broker needs an assistant." Oh. So I started working for her part-time, making less than I was making on unemployment income.
Oh, wow.
Her husband fell ill with cancer, and they had to do some traveling to South Carolina for treatment. So I got licensed, kind of ran her business while he was being treated.
Wow.
And then when the market crashed, she closed shop and moved down to South Carolina. So I've been in the business for 13 years. Left her shop, went to one of the big banks, and found Movement Mortgage about 5.5 years ago, and am very happy for that.
Yeah, wow, that's an awesome story. That's kind of random that you kind of got into that,
right?
But
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so could you tell us what makes Movement Mortgage a little bit different?
Absolutely. So I've always told clients and realtor partners, you can have a really great loan officer at a mortgage company or a bank that doesn't have the best internal processes, and the process is not going to go well.
Right.
It's not going to be a smooth process. You can have a not so great loan officer at a company like Movement that has excellent processes in place, and it's still not going to be a smooth process. You have to have an excellent loan officer and a company that has the processes in place to get things done quickly and efficiently and smoothly for the client in order to have a good mortgage experience. And that's what brought me to Movement. I knew I was a good loan officer when I came on board, but I really needed that backbone, the internal services that would let us get things done quickly. So we've got my team who is here with me locally that supports me and helps push things from the origination side, and then we've got my operations department that is phenomenal, that goes through the underwriting, the closing process.
Okay, so it's kind of like the whole package.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your process and what your clients can expect from you.
Okay. So as a loan officer, my job is to interview the client, ask the questions that are needed to determine if they credit qualify for a specific loan program and loan scenario.
Okay.
Once I complete that initial interview and do the pre-qualification, my team jumps in and works to gather the loan documents from the client.
Okay.
And we pull everything together, they review it, submit the file to underwriting, and then my operations department picks it up. And they push it through underwriting, they process the file, get the third-party things that a client doesn't even know we're requesting.
Right, all the background stuff.
Right,
yeah.
And then our closing department jumps in. And what really makes us different is that I give my team a 24-hour turn time to review documents from a client.
Okay.
They then submit it to underwriting, and the underwriter that gets the file has 6 hours to review the file. So I can oftentimes take a file from submission to approval in 1 day.
Wow.
And then once the file's approved, there's a 7-day goal to get the file credit cleared to close, so that the credit piece is done well before due diligence gets here, and the client doesn't have to worry about anything falling apart at the last minute.
Right. Okay. So fast is definitely important.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I've heard that Movement Mortgage can get a client approved before they even have a contract on a home. Is that right?
Absolutely. We are one of the few mortgage companies in the industry that will actually take a file through the full underwriting process without a contract. So we take on the upfront expense of getting a file approved. Right. And we do this for a couple of reasons. First, it gives the client the peace of mind that nothing's going to go sideways in the process. Okay. All too often we get documentation where tax returns have write-offs that we wouldn't know until we got the documents.
Right.
Or there were large deposits on a bank statement that can't be sourced until we've gotten the statements.
Okay.
So it lets us go through all that, ask all the difficult questions before the underwriter sees the file. They then review the file, and I have a full commitment letter that a client can submit with an offer. And what that does for a client in that situation, especially in this market, there's so many multiple offers out there that if there's a full approval letter and I call the listing agent and say, hey, this client's been through underwriting, we can close this super quickly, it really helps the client win that bid.
Yeah, it kind of puts you ahead a little bit. And,
exactly.
Gets you ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I've heard you can close a loan in as little as 2 weeks. How is that possible?
Well, the upfront underwriting process helps, but it is not required. It's just that internal process that I talked about before, how we get things in, we get them done quickly. My team and I are very thorough on the front end so that when an underwriter gets a file, it's easy for them to approve. We basically pre-underwrite the file. But that 7-day process that Movement Mortgage founded itself with is really what helps us close in as little as 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I've actually been able to do a number of save deals where we've not had to miss the closing date because we had to start over as a new lender.
Oh, okay.
So I close on average 25 to 35 loans a month, and of those, 3 to 5 deals are quick closings, whether it be we need to close quick to get the contract, or I needed to pick up the pieces from somebody else and get it done.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know in talking to some of the agents on our team that you provide a lot of tools for them and to help them grow their business. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I am big in investing in my realtor partners. I want to help them grow their brand and their business.
Absolutely.
So I put a lot of my personal money into tools that the agents can use and not cost them anything.
Yeah.
Movement does have some in-house things that we utilize as well, but my team and I offer property flyers for listings that talk about area, things that are close to the properties that are convenient.
Okay.
It helps support open houses.
Yeah.
We've got financing flyers. I've also do open house kits so that the agents don't have to invest so much in their open houses.
That's awesome.
And then we do home buyer bags where an agent's taking a client out to view a property. Instead of having to provide them with snacks and waters, I have bags that have snacks and waters and information on the mortgage process.
That's very
So
cool.
it's just something, a little extra touch to help the agent really stand out in front of their client and show the commitment with their realtor partner.
Yeah, and obviously show that they have that partnership and that connection. And
Exactly.
That's really important. I think people want to see that that you have what you need going on in the back end.
Exactly.
And that way they can trust the process and
Right.
trust that you're going to get things done for them. So,
Exactly. When
yeah.
it's put together well for a client, whether it's a seller or a buyer, they've got the confidence in the realtor that they're backed by the right partners to be able to make the process smooth and easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's really awesome. So Movement Mortgage is pretty passionate about giving back their profits to communities that they operate in. Is that right?
Absolutely. And that's part of what brought me to Movement. Part of what intrigued me about the company is the culture that we have.
Right.
And our mission statement is to make a change in not only our industry, but in corporate culture and in the communities where we live. And it's actually inspired me to do some things locally. But from a company level, we have opened a charter school in an underserved community off of Freedom Drive in Charlotte.
Oh my gosh, wow.
We opened a nonprofit facility that houses 8 nonprofits that pay very little, if any, rent so that they can better the communities around us.
That's very cool.
We have mission trips internationally.
Wow.
But then from a local level, what Movement's culture inspired me to do is to get involved with a backpack ministry that I donated funds to for many years up in Mooresville. It's called Food for Days. And the organization packs weekend meals and snacks for kids that, when they leave school on Friday, would not have a meal to eat until they return to school on Monday.
Okay, wow.
And so I've gotten a group for Movement. We pack backpacks once a month and do food drives. I've even gotten our corporate office involved in gathering food items and packing the backpacks.
Yeah.
So it's really great culture to be around. And, when we make money, it's important for us to give back. And that's really what I want to do.
Right.
God's put me in a position to be able to do what I do and do it really well. But I want to be able to help others improve their lives through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's very awesome.
Thank you.
And that really sets you apart, obviously, as a person and as, a loan officer in general, because people like to work with people that they like, that they can, appreciate. So that's really very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Dana, for being here today and for answering all my questions. It was great.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.